This is the second video in the Global Learning Project, and in this video I'll be discussing the interactions, which is the second interaction that I have had with a culturally different person that I've chosen. Again, that person is my roommate, and this time I decided to learn a new skill with my roommate, and thankfully in our neighborhood we had an event called Survivor, and every single event we had to do was a new team building skill or a leadership skill. So this was basically similar to learning a skill because we learned how to become better teammates, better leaders, and work on growing as a team. So one of the events was we had to go through a invisible maze, and we had to be very calm with each other so we could get through it. Because if we didn't take our time in doing it efficiently, we would not win against the other team. Sadly, we didn't win the event, but we still learned how to maintain calmness and get through the activity. The next activity was the water balloon toss, and the normal water balloon toss. You just had to be able to communicate back and forth when you threw the balloon, make sure that they catch it, etc., etc. But we really get into leadership and teamwork when we did the human knot, where you have to cross your hands with somebody on the opposite side of you, not next to you, and then we have to work together on getting out of the knot. That really was a lot of teamwork. Then the next event was there were several boxes, and 3 people had to be blindfolded, and you had to get those 3 people in a line and answer the different questions we were given, because on the boxes there are different words, and if you line them up correctly you would make a phrase and that would be the answer to a question. So that was a lot about leadership. So being a leader isn't just being out to lead people, but you have to be able to be calm, be orderly, etc., etc. And then the next activity, the last activity, was one person had to be blindfolded and the rest of the team had to be able to tell the person without any words, but with different sounds, to build build a huge box. We had different boxes and you had to build not a castle, but like a fort. So with that we had to be calm again, but be able to learn how to speak without words, but with sounds like ba 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 for bass or something. So that was had to do a lot with leadership and teamwork. Okay, so it was really important that this interaction happened because I got to see how someone culturally different from me would react and take on this skill. I am a more of a outspoken person, so when it came to having to lead and tell people what to do, I would get a lot more excited and worked up, so I had to try to remain calm a lot more. Whereas my roommate, she was already very soft-spoken, and it was a lot easier for her to lead us and tell us how to do things. So she was very successful. I was very successful on my end. So you can be on either two spectrums. If you're very excited, very outspoken, or on the other side where my roommate was, where she was a lot more quiet. And both of them worked. Both of them worked very, very well. We actually ended up winning the entire game. There was 5 of us in the team, and we got to see how each people in our group were leaders and how we worked as a team. So that was very good. So the most important part of this interaction was to see how would we take on the ability to work together and be a leader with our different cultures. My culture is going to be different than her culture, so we would have a different leadership aspect and a different teammate aspect, like I said, where she was more prone to be a lot more quiet, and on my side I was a lot more prone to be outspoken. But also that's how our personalities are, but through our culture we are different, and that's how we will also interact with people and we will lead people. So it really did take a big toll. How I felt, I wasn't uncomfortable at all because I was in a group setting. So that was a lot more comforting to me than the first interaction I had with her friend when we went to get something to eat. So it was a lot more laid back, and I was with a group, and I was able to watch very closely how our leadership skills were different. In the end, I was very happy to see that there was a difference. I was afraid that we would both have the same type of leadership skills, and that I couldn't really get any evidence on how culturally different people do different things. But it actually ended up that we did leadership differently and stuff like that. So, how I felt, we talked about how I felt before, during, and after. We spoke about, so I've hit all the key parts. And so my last interaction, I may have to change because I might not be able to go back with her to her hometown, but I will still try to find a new interaction. So thank you for watching this video, and my next video will be coming up very soon. Thank you!